wife and I were celebrating our anniversary in Broken Bow last month. And that is when I messaged you and the team. I think you guys were at the Arnold, and I had my biggest month of all time by a significant margin. It was probably, I think it was $5,000 over what my previous best month was all time in all 10 years of doing this. And that was just such a surreal moment for her and I, especially just we're out in Oklahoma away from life, vacationing. And it was just such a cool moment to be able to just sit and experience that together and like come to that realization that, man, our investment that we made has really changed so many things for us on that side of things, especially as a business, but how much more that's going to enable me to continue to do more for my family, for the people around me, for my community and things. And so having that moment with her, like just her and I, just like, because she's the only person I really talk to about any of the financial stuff or any of the business stuff. She's my go-to. She's my rock. All of my wins, she knows all of my wins. She's probably the only person that knows most of them, And so getting to share that with her, like my excitement and seeing her excitement as well. Whenever we saw that number, I was like, it was an incredible night, So that's probably been my number one moment so far.
Welcome back to AR Funnel Podcast. My name is Mike Krause, CEO and co-founder, and I have Tyler here with me, Mr. Harrington. Dude, thank you so much for coming on today. Looking forward to diving into more about who you are and who you help. And first and foremost, I always like to ask, dude, like what got you into fitness many, many, many years ago?
Man, so thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys having me on the podcast here. Man, first thing, I guess, whenever I was really young, my family owned a gym growing up. So just at 9, 10 years old, I got to go into the gym like while my dad worked out. I didn't really get to do anything, but just got to go hang out and sit behind the counter and just watched, all the guys back then in the 90s and stuff, lifting heavy and getting jacked. And it just always seemed super cool. They had pictures of, a bunch of Olympia winners on the walls and everything. So it was a real small town bodybuilding style kind of gym. And so I always just really enjoyed that environment. And then from there, man, playing sports all through high school and then football in college and everything, I just always loved training. So I guess I was always a little meathead. Even though I was an athlete, I was more of a meathead. That just kind of always kept me connected with it and always just enjoyed it and loved it. And thankfully, I've been able to turn that now into a career, full time and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And so do you do online and in person as well?
Yeah, so I do both. I do online and in person. And now over the past couple of years, I've been able to thankfully shift more and more of my client base to online, which has been great because of the time constraints and everything there. But it's been really good. I still have a nice little balance of both. I get my personal, in-person working and clients in, which enables me to still have that fun passion like we were talking before we started of, just interacting with people. But then I also get the online side and be able to help a lot more people than just who's in my general area too.
Absolutely. And so where are you located?
So I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana, way down south.
Okay.
Deep south.
Yes. Born and raised there?
I was born just a little south of here in a little town called Abbeville. Small little town. But yeah, we're this is the biggest town near my small town. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense why you know Lacey then.
Yeah. Yep.
Known Lacey she's obviously from there as well.
We've probably known each other about 10 years now. We started kind of competing around the same time.
Nice.
Years and years ago and became friends through that. And she's been a very awesome coach and friend relationship to be able to kind of have and keep through the years. So yeah, love her. And she's actually how I heard about you guys, was seeing her start working with you guys as well.
Awesome.
So
yeah, she's incredible. So are you still actively competing at all, or do you hang that up?
No, I hung that up in 2021 was my last show. I did the state show here in Louisiana, won Miss Louisiana for bodybuilding and classic.
Nice.
I was planning on still competing after that. Thank you. But I tore my Achilles whenever I was getting ready to try for a national show. And that was kind of a big light bulb moment for me. I think it was kind of time for me to step away and start focusing more on my business and more on my family as well. Sure. And so once I kind of made that decision, I've never really looked back. I still love training and everything. I don't have any desire to compete in bodybuilding. I've now competed in powerlifting as well, but yeah. So still have something competitive always going on, but just not necessarily bodybuilding anymore.
Totally. It's funny you say that because when I quit in 2014, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I came back and did a show just on a whim.
Yeah.
18. Mm-hmm. Just got ready in like 6 weeks and jumped on stage.
Like, hey, I'm just going to gun it. Let's see.
Well, yeah, why not? And then last year, my wife decided to do a show, and I was like, I'll jump in and do it.
Why not? Yeah, we'll do it together.
And then I did. It was the best I ever looked, and
Yeah.
then got first call outs at nationals, and I'm like, all right, so this year we're actually like
I was just
giving
saying,
it
dude,
a
I've
go.
been seeing you training and some of your
Giving it a
videos,
go.
man. You look
for
good.
Sure.
You look good.
Appreciate that. We're let's see, hang on. How many days out? 140 days out from North Americans.
You count it down by the day.
Yeah.
You're in
Yeah.
it.
Because the weeks, it's like 30 weeks. It's like, that's a
Yeah.
long time,
Yeah.
you know, but
Makes it
now
seem
it's
a
like,
lot
so I
further
think,
away.
what is 140 divided by 7? That is 20 weeks
20.
to the date. Today is
Yeah.
20 weeks out. I should probably start to clean it up a little bit.
I was saying,
But anyway,
get into
so,
the weeds
yeah,
now.
man,
Like,
North
all right,
Americans.
we're getting close to prep time now. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, Dave makes 20 weeks, man, and doing masters since I'm old, if you can't
Yeah.
tell.
Why not? Take advantage. Do it.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna squeeze in there at 36 master C class in
There you
physique
go.
and give it a go. I got to make 209. I was 244 this morning.
That's a drop.
Um,
Yeah.
It's going to be a drop, but
That's,
you know, I'm holding a ton
because
of
you're
water.
already pretty lean too. You're not like
Decent.
You're not like
I'm not
full
fat.
off season. Well, like I'll say this,
Yeah.
my last show, I was, I think, 245 when I started prep. I started prep at 10 or 11 weeks out. It was 245 and I weighed in at 196. So not the best idea. I don't recommend doing that. But
yeah, don't do that.
but
that
I was also
that
a
last
very
6
fluffy.
weeks was
It was a very
Yeah.
fluffy 245, you know.
that
So,
last 6 weeks was tough.
yeah, it was nasty. So
So
Yeah.
I typically, in the past, I would say I usually get on stage within usually like 10 to 15 pounds of my start weight. But I also am not taking like all my training and stuff very serious before I decided to do a show. So I
Yeah.
would grow into the show. Here,
Right.
that's not the case.
here you've
So
been
I'm gonna
training.
have to
Yeah,
basically-
you've been at it.
Yeah. So I've been training versus I
Yeah.
used to say I worked out. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't train anymore, man. I just work
Yeah.
out.
It was
And
like
now
the
I'm
old
like,
Kevin
I'm
O'Brien style.
training.
I'm kind of not really doing much in the off season, and then prep
Yeah.
time. Turn
And
it
this
on.
year
But
I'm like, every workout counts.
counts. Yeah,
Every
it all
meal
matters.
is hit.
Yeah,
And so I've been going like that since August. Yeah, when I first decided to do a show, I haven't missed a meal since August.
yeah. Well, there you go. So you've already
anything,
been in
I've
prep
eaten
mode. So
too much, you know, but
yeah,
yeah, I was in prep mode for 14, 15 weeks up to nationals,
Yeah.
and I've just been
been
just
rolling since
chopping
then.
away at it.
Yeah.
So
I always usually prep for at least 20 weeks. I naturally am a little bit higher body fat guy in my past. I was a chubby kid. My nickname in high school was Fat. So I was a chunky kid. So I always need a little bit more time. And that last prep, I was going through a divorce and all kind of stuff. It was like 10 or 11 weeks out. I found out about my, divorce got finalized. I was like, I need something to focus on. And so I was like, yeah, it's going to be a hell of a grind, but it's going to take all of my attention.
sure.
At least.
Yeah, it's
So-
gonna help me get through this.
That's it.
That's funny. Oh yeah, man. Actually, like my prep was fairly easy, and I feel like this one's going to be fairly easy as well.
Yeah.
I don't put a lot of emphasis on it, like mentally. I just count the steps and
Right.
hit the mills. Like
Just check the boxes.
show up,
Check
just
the
check
boxes,
the
show up,
boxes, and everything
move
will
on.
fall into place.
Next day. Yep.
When you put too much energy on it, like I'm sure you see this with a lot of your clients. It's like they put so much stress on the scale and so much stress on it that's actually like inhibiting you from actually losing the weight because your cortisol is just out of whack. You're like can't sleep because you're thinking. It's just like you got to cut all that off and just it's really black or white.
Yeah.
Did I
it's
do
just
the
strictly-
thing or did I not
Did it
do
or
the
you
thing?
didn't? Yeah.
There's no gray area for me to
No.
worry or be concerned.
Yep.
And
Like,
so when
you
you
were
can
supposed
take
to do
that
45
approach,
minutes on the
it's like,
treadmill. You did 45 or you didn't. Like
you did it or you didn't. Which
yeah,
one is
that's
it?
Yeah. So I get that.
But dude, that brings me into a really good question here is like, do you believe in cardio or step counting?
So I do more cardio, just because, like, for example, if I have a client that is really big on steps or that's just what they're used to, I'll do that based on steps, but I'll get what their current average is. Because, like, for example, today I've already got 17,000 steps. It's 3 p.m., but I get up at 3 a.m. So yeah, but I get up at 3 a.m. and I mean, or 3:15 and I'm, in-person clients all morning running around the gym and everything. So if somebody told me, hey man, get 10,000 steps a day, I'm like, well, do you want me to move less? So I typically go by give cardio ranges, whether it's set time or mileage. for some of like my distance runners that I work with as well. So yeah, I kind of just do it individual basis.
Based on if somebody's super active, you're saying we'll add additional cardio. If a person is pretty
Right.
sediment, then we can essentially
Yeah.
do
Then
steps.
I might just do steps. Right.
Cool.
Pretty much.
That makes a lot of sense from that perspective. I got ready for my entire prep just based on steps in this walking pad I have underneath me right now.
Yeah.
My goal right now is to get up to doing 20,000. It's really difficult because I got a 100-mile hike coming up at the end of May.
Nice.
That I need to like get my feet ready for.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
I'm not concerned about the cardio. I'm concerned about my feet, like just the
being
constant
for
move.
that long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just trying to keep them moving, and
but
I
for
got
guys like for you with competitors though, like okay, steps. You're probably already even before you started prep. You know what I mean? Or since you haven't started, you're already very aware of how many steps you're getting. You know, it's like, oh hey, cool. I need to get 5,000 more a day. Get it done. You know,
exactly.
It's easy to measure.
You typically have a
starting
pretty
off
consistent or habitual lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah, so I basically told myself when I was doing the prep, whatever extra steps I got, that's extra. But I was like, I have to walk on the pad. It was either 4 or 5 miles or 8 or 10,000 steps. But it was like 4 miles or 5 miles. That was really our range. And it was like, that's what I did. I did nothing else additional, no like traditional style cardio.
Yeah.
I also like, if I don't walk, I get like 3,000 total steps a day because I sit at a desk all day.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too that I think I do a little bit different with a lot of my clients. I probably have at least 50% of my clients don't do your traditional cardio of walking on a treadmill for distance or time or any of that. A lot of my clients I have doing a ton of HIIT cardio sessions. Like that's really what I do now personally. I do a 5-minute strongman style HIIT cardio session at the end of each of my lift days. And I'm done with cardio in 5 minutes. And this is the leanest that I've ever been able to maintain without any of all the extras and all that from the bodybuilding days. And I don't do any long distance cardio. I do sprints 1 day a week, but that's a 5 to 7 minute little burnout, like some sandbag carries, some jump rope, some push-ups. Cool. Do that for 5 minutes. That heart rate's going to be up there. So
high intensity. Question for you on that. Have you noticed doing that style has increased appetite?
So for a lot of my clients, it does. For me, my appetite's, I eat enough food. I'm good. I'm eating plenty. But for a lot of my clients, it does happen, and it does happen very quickly whenever we add that in. Usually I won't start people off with that type of cardio, you know, if they're not ready training wise to get there.
Sure. If you can't handle box jump, you probably shouldn't be doing.
Right. I'm not going to have them doing a bunch
aggressive
of high intensity stuff. But usually whenever they do get to that point, I do maybe transition them from like, hey, 5 miles for the week or hey, 10,000 steps to, hey, now let's add in this 5-minute burnout, taper to what they can handle. Normally that next week, that next check-in, it's like, hey man, dude, I'm kind of really getting hungry, especially after my post-workout meal. Like I'm hungry again. And I'm like, great, good. Let's eat some more food, you know? So
yeah, I've noticed that because obviously like I talked to a lot of coaches, and that was one of the things my wife's really big on. That was whenever she would incorporate HIIT and somebody trying to like lose weight, depending on the person's discipline and characteristics of themselves, it would be counterintuitive because they like would go binge because they're so hungry.
Yeah. Well, so that's where as soon as I get that feedback that their hunger went up, I will usually go ahead and increase their food a little bit on that next meal afterwards, just to where, hey, mentally, they're like, cool, hey, I am hungry. I'm getting a little bit more food. It might be marginal. It might be an extra 15 grams of carbs, but like, okay, cool. Hey, it kind of satiated that mentally and physically for them. And then we still can get the big fat loss benefit we want.
I like it. It's really cool how you're customizing everything you do to match the client's activity level, athletic level, lifestyle. And, you know, that's a really big thing because I think sometimes coaches don't always take that approach because it's like, well, this is how I train. This is how I get people ready. And then you're meeting them more of where they're at versus what's ideal.
Well, I think honestly, competing in bodybuilding for 10 years, and I was very fortunate whenever I was competing that my coach at the time was also my mentor to get into coaching as well. I think that he definitely mostly coached bodybuilders and competitors. But I think having that background for so long, plus my background with athletics, and then whenever I started training people, I had mostly Gen Pop clients. I think all three of those things kind of really helped me to now be able to really have a more diverse range of how I can help different clients, you know, not just bodybuilding chicken and rice, broccoli, or just, hey, just your macros, or this is your generic kind of training plan. And part of that makes it a little bit more time consuming on the coaching side, to do that. But I do enjoy being very hands-on with my clients and being able to be more personable with it. But it's definitely helped me to diversify my approach as a coach along the way too, being able to kind of pick and grab from different disciplines or different areas where I've learned different things and how that can kind of correlate to different populations. Because most of my clients are Gen Pop. I have a few competitors in the strongman space, powerlifting space, athletes, bodybuilding competitors too, but bulk of it's Gen Pop. And most of them do not want to eat chicken and rice 4 times a day. Like, cool.
Right.
You want a bagel? You want some eggs? You want some steak? We're gonna make that work. We're gonna put it in. We're gonna make that work. So trying to treat them as people, not competitors, as best as possible.
I understand what you mean 1,000%. I remember, man, when I first got in the coaching, I was so stupid. I'd tell people that fruit's bad for you and you got to do it just like this because that's what I was doing because that's what I was taught. And,
but that's what you do.
It's so stupid.
It's not stupid. It was just, hey, it was better term ignorant because you just didn't know. You didn't know what you didn't know.
Right.
Like,
yeah. I was just
you
passing
were giving
on
them
the information that was given to me.
But hey, you were passing on what you knew and trying to help people with it. But at the same time, like over time, you learned more. Well, that changed how you coached, So it's just, hey, you were a beginner coach. We all were, and it's like, all right. Well, obviously since then you have learned and gained some traction, gained some knowledge over the years, so it would be bad if you were still doing that, but you're not. So
for sure.
Yeah.
So who is your favorite client to work with? Who's your ideal client?
Man, I also work with a number of college athletes, NFL athletes, Major League Baseball athletes as well. And so the people that know me and know my client base, they see those guys a lot of times and just assume that, man, that must be the ticket. It's like, yes, that's cool. And I do enjoy it, especially being a former athlete. I enjoy that. But truly, man, the best clients, the most ideal client I could have is somebody that truly just wants to make a change in their life for the better and is tired of putting themselves on the back burner. We all have a tendency to do that with work, our spouse, kids, all those things have a huge priority. But at the end of the day, if we're not making ourselves a little bit of a priority or more of a priority, we're going to be too burnt out to handle everything else. So honestly, the clients that I enjoy working with the most are the ones that are kind of in that stuck space of like, I'm burnt out between kids, work, wife, husband, and just life, and helping them learn how to transition and take care of themselves and build those habits and those disciplines better to where then not only are they better physically, but they're better mentally, emotionally across the board in all those other areas. Those are the ones that are fun for me and exciting because I get to see that transformation go from you're coming to me, you're stressed out, you're overwhelmed, you've tried XYZ diet 12 times over the past 3 years and nothing's worked. And then, hey, we just shift more, the mental side of things. And then everything else starts lining up. All the dominoes start falling into place, so it's really just whoever it is that wants to make an actual change, but a lot of people keep thinking, I'm going to get there in a couple months. I'm going to get there in a little bit, or I'm going to start soon. I just don't have the time right now. And it's like, well, you don't ever have the time. You don't. It doesn't just appear. You just have to make that, and make that work. So
you've actually been coaching for how long now?
About 10 years, right at a decade. Yep.
Out of the last 10 years, what's the number one thing a client taught you?
So it was honestly that I didn't charge enough money.
That's what a client taught you?
Yes. So and this was fairly recently. I had a client come on. He had worked with coaches in the past. Didn't have a great experience with one particular coach. Don't know the coach's name. Doesn't matter. Just didn't have a great experience. And on our call, the first thing he told me was like, hey, I just want you to know, I really do not like you people. I was like, okay, what do you mean? So he was like, tell him about his experience. Right. And I was like, well, okay, if you don't mind me asking, like, how much were you paying this guy for this service that you didn't like? And it was about 10 times what I was charging per month. And I was like, how long did you stay with him? It was like a year and a half. I was like, okay, you spent 10 times what I'm about to charge you for a service that you hated and did not like, and did not get a result from. For a year and a half, you spent that money. And so whenever I told him my prices, he was like, wait, is that like per week? I was like, no, man, that's for the month. And he was like, well, do you want to charge me more now? It's like, no, man, like that's my price, man. I told you my price. I'm going to honor that. Yeah. Like the next day, I also had a call with Liz, I think it was, and kind of discussed that with her. And I was like, yeah, I need to maybe change that. Like at this point, 9-10 years into this, okay, my knowledge has definitely grown since starter coach of, don't eat fruit, chicken and rice, especially the amount of clients that I've helped in cases that I've worked with, especially very specialty type of clients with PCOS and hormone issues and diabetes and things like that. It's like, okay, I need to go ahead and increase what I'm saying my value is, that's probably,
and also your time,
things.
Right? Yeah. Like time becomes limited. It's one of those things as well. A lot of people think that sometimes that have to give more to receive more. And I always like to use this analogy. In 2020, did the houses all of a sudden have like a remodel done to them, or did the price raise based on scarcity? It's a supply and demand. Let's be very, very, very clear. Personal training or online coaching is a luxury. It is not a must-have, which means that it is not price gouging because I raised my prices on a luxury item. This is not gas or baby formula. You get to choose whether you want this, which means I get to choose my rate however I see fit, whether that's based on limited time or that's based on value. If I have 5 hours a week to do it and you're willing to pay me $1,000 an hour for it, that's on you. That's your choice. Mm-hmm. And if people are willing to pay it, then that means that it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing too, is I was very nervous about it because this was only literally the third time or fourth time in 10 years that I have raised my prices.
Yeah. Inflation's. And
I started off doing it for a year for free. That was, so it's probably been needed, but also even outside of inflation, all that stuff too, like you're saying, I was undervaluing myself and especially the amount of time and effort that I put in, especially with things being as individualized as I do them, the amount of hands-on work that I do.
Yeah, man.
And so once I made that change, I was very nervous, obviously going into my next couple consults of like, gonna tell them the price. What are they gonna say? And, the next 3 people just signed up like immediately, didn't bat an eye, didn't question it. Like, yep, cool. Send me the link. Let's get it started. Go. I was like, okay, well then I guess the value is there, so it was nice to kind of get that immediate feedback too on those next few consults that like, okay, hey, from that consult, they definitely see that the value is there, So.
For sure. And so the client teaching you your own worth, I think that's pretty amazing. Well, who has been, let's not say who, let's just say like, what's been your favorite part about one person's journey about being a coach? Somebody lose 100 pounds, somebody overcame this.
I've had clients that have lost, 50, 75 pounds over the years. And like the weight and the metrics and stuff are cool. Kind of like my athletes. Like I had one of my guys ran the fastest 40 in the entire Southland Conference as a senior of college. That's really cool. It's freaking awesome. I love it. Losing 50 pounds, that's insane. I love it. But truly, I've had so many clients that I've seen such a big change and shift in their internal dialogue and how they see themselves and how they carry themselves on a daily basis, and seeing them go from, very shy, quiet, or just very, lacking in confidence for themselves, insecure, to then seeing them flourishing in their day-to-day life, seeing them getting promotions at work, just not because they're working out, but because of all the things that working out and eating better and all these habits have done for them. That's really been the huge love of mine this whole time for 10 years now, is just getting to see people see their success continue to multiply outside of just the X's and O's of I lost 3 inches on my waist, I lost 20 pounds on the scale. Like, that's cool, man. Like I've got one of my guys, he's a full-time employee at a job. He also owns his own company, has 2 kids, and he's a former collegiate powerlifter. He's seen his abs for the first time in his life. That's a huge win. But the bigger win is he is even more present of a husband, is more present of a father, and he's doing even better in his businesses just from dialing in all the other discipline aspects that he was kind of putting off for a bit, So that's as awesome. Cool as his abs are, because I comment on him all the time whenever I see him. Yeah, it's like awesome. But what I love most is like his check-ins where he's telling me about the amount of time he spent with his family this weekend and how he was actually able to shut down and be present with them, Because like, as a coach, like it's way more than just the X's and O's of macros and
Totally.
cardio. It's the psychological side of that as well.
Yep.
And that's what I love seeing that change, because that changes
And
not just how he's looking, it's changing his life. It's changing
Right.
his kid's life and their relationship with their dad, his relationship with his wife. Like that's big change,
The amount of discipline that one acquires when getting their life together in the nutritional side of things will carry over into every other aspect of your life. The time management
Absolutely.
that you learn when it's required to prep your food and be thinking about where your next meal is going to from. If you just start critically thinking on how you're going to be healthy in this situation, allows you to be better and carry over in other things inside your life. The work ethic required to see results in the gym then also carries in all these other aspects. And I find that successful people that are successful in their careers that are lacking in their personal life have the discipline and have the ability, or they would not be successful in their careers. They just have to learn to apply those disciplines in their personal life like they do in their business or career life. And they will also excel there as well. But they use the words, I can't, while you're demonstrating that you can in a different vertical.
Yeah. You can't. You built a multi-million-dollar business with 60 employees. You have some sort of discipline. You have some consistency.
Yeah.
You have some work ethic. It's just, okay, turn that over into your time with your kids too, or your relationship or your food, whatever it is, just have to find a way to make that connect.
I find for myself, and I talk to a lot of coaches, right? Obviously, after working with over 800 coaches at this point, I find that one of the number one things that they struggle with is when they say, I can't. And I'm like, but you're proving it here inside your physique. You show me that you go every day to the gym to fail. You show me that you're willing to improve and fail and get better over here, but you won't do it over here. And you say you can't do this or you can't do that. Just like somebody saying, I can't eat vegetables. You're not ready to see the result because you're not saying you can't over in your business. You say, I'll figure it out. But over here, all of a sudden it's a can't. So you put this limiting belief on yourself with just words, and those words become such heavy, crippling handcuffs. That prevents you from actually being able to do it because you've already said that you couldn't do it. And I find that the word I can't prevents every motion of progress from ever happening.
Yeah, well, because you already believe it. So if you're saying it out loud, you're believing it. If you're saying that
1,000%.
out loud, or even mentally, if you're saying that, you're already believing it. You're already setting yourself up.
It's over.
Short term and long term, And that's the big thing is, again, if you can do it in all these other areas, there's no reason you can't do it here. You just maybe haven't done it yet. You haven't yet. It's not that you can't. You just haven't done it yet. Or, hey, or not I can't, but I need help there. Sure. That's a much better way to go about it. At least you're leaving that door open for I can get there. Just maybe need a little guidance. Or maybe a little
I always
push,
like to tell people when they say they can't, I'm like, no. You can. You're just choosing not to when it's not important. Let's be very clear on what we're actually saying. Because you can eat that broccoli. It's not that big a deal. You're just choosing not to.
Yeah.
You could do this. You're just choosing not to. Well, cool, man. This is all really great. I always can tell when a coach has been in this a long time, whenever I ask the question and they lead with the mental aspect of the change that happens to somebody, because you've seen all the physical wins, you've seen the performance wins, but seeing somebody be happy, that hits different. And that's really all you're actually doing is bringing happiness to somebody's life that couldn't find that on their own.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because
and sometimes it's in a different way than they thought,
That client you were talking about, like at the end of the day, he's just simply happier. You show up as a better husband because you're happier.
We talk about
you show
it all
up
the
as a
time,
better father because you're happier.
Yeah. You're just doing better everywhere. And that's what I always try to talk to my clients about is that like, this isn't like in my consults and stuff. I tell them like, I am not just here to give you a diet and a training program. Like if that's all I'm doing, I'm doing a terrible job as a coach and you need to fire me. Okay. Just for me, I want to be able to see an impact across all aspects of your life. No, I don't need to know the interpersonal details of your marriage, but on my check-in form, I have a little spot there of, hey, what's stressing us this week? This could be personal. This could be fitness related. It could be business, whatever. Like it's just kind of an open space for my clients. Just, hey, whatever's kind of going on up here, like this is your safe space to get us out because that all plays a role into our overall health too. If I have a client, you're like, I've had that conversation before where I had a client that was stressing about things with his wife, in their relationship. I'm like, hey, first of all, I'm not a psychologist. I am not a therapist. Okay. But I will say that you have put this on your form for the last 6 weeks in a row and nothing has changed about it.
Time to address
it. So
that
means that we need to make some sort of a change there, whether it's talking to her directly or talking to a therapist, but you need to make a change here because it's affecting everything else downstream. That stress is affecting your sleep. It's affecting you're not going to the gym or you're not getting this done, and it's like, well, it's no longer about the X's and O's of the macros. It's about your personal life and what you're doing in there. It's like, okay, if we make that better, everything else flows.
Dude, I just got some questions here on the AR side, man. I always like to ask you, so I like to figure out and let people understand kind of where every coach is coming from. Yeah. Well, what did you have to do before signing up with AR that you might have not liked or hated or something you just didn't want to do?
Man, honestly, putting myself out there as much as I do now, like on social media and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that if I did not use it for my business, I would be the type of person that probably did not have a Facebook or not have an Instagram.
Sure. Totally get that.
Just not my thing. But I've always had it because of business and everything as well. But I still never really had like a real direction of where I was kind of going with any of my content or anything that I was really posting. I mean, occasionally it'd be a family picture. And then this today might be some gym stuff. And then might be some nutrition stuff. It's kind of just all over. But once kind of signing up with you guys, I started realizing that was a big, like we talked earlier, domino that I needed to really push and kind of work towards there. And so since then, I've made it a point that like, hey, I don't like doing this. So that means I probably need to do it. Probably need to dig into it a little bit more. Yeah. So since then, I've tried to make a plan and all that. And the team has been incredibly helpful with a lot of that stuff too. Even Dan would comment on one of my last posts. He's like, hey, I'm surprised you didn't put this. And I was like, that's a good idea. He's like, yeah, next post. Like, that's an idea. I'm like, okay. Let me go write it down. So, but having that, the team being able to help kind of guide me with some of that stuff, especially with some of the analytics and things that you guys did, to kind of give me a more set direction of like, okay, where do I need to really be pushing to give more value through my social media and how to go about doing that in a better way that's still true to me and not just like the same generic thing that everybody else is posting.
Sure. Sure. How do you find your voice in that, right? So what were your sales numbers before joining AR?
Okay, so I actually went through earlier because I know we talked recently on Instagram. The past 3 months have been 2026 has been absolutely insane for me. So in 2024, I averaged 8,300 a month. 2025 was 9,300 a month. So far in 2026, I'm averaging just over 16,000 a month. And I started with you guys in, I think, December, maybe.
Yeah.
December of 2025, I think, is when I got onboarded.
Wow. So you're on pace to double revenue right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you guys. I mean, really, in a very insanely short amount of time, because don't get me wrong, I, like we talked about, my friend Lacey has been with you guys, and I know that if she's doing something, it's probably a good idea. So that's what kind of caught my eye. But still, at the end of the day, we're all skeptical whenever we're spending money on things. And like, oh, these promises, and not promises, but like, oh, yeah, this is going to be the results. Like, okay, maybe. Now, granted, all my consults, everybody I've talked to on the team, I have thoroughly enjoyed talking to. And every conversation has felt very personal and very real, not very sales pushy at all. And so that really kind of led me to go ahead and like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to buy in and let's see where this leads. And, talk with my wife about it often. And that was definitely one of the best investments that I have made in probably the past 10 years, signing up with you guys.
Well, dude, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. I don't take compliments well, but I love that the team has been supportive and it's been helpful, and it's just been a smooth, easy process.
It's been awesome, dude.
What was your biggest skepticism before signing up? Even though you had, a referral in from a friend, but like, what was your skepticism?
Honestly, so it had nothing to do with you guys. I sold cars for about 2 months of my life before I started training people. And that got me pretty much a high fear or just, not want to deal with anything to do with sales. So anytime somebody is like, anytime I see something that's all salesy or whatever, like trying to sell me on something. I'm just like,
Red flag.
it's just an instant red flag of like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really wasn't anything about you guys. It was just more so that experience was terrible for me 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And, so that was just kind of the big thing. And then two, seeing there's a few other companies that I've looked at that, kind of had similar things going. But honestly, through the phone calls with you guys seem to also have the most systematic approach to things, like already developed to where it could be very much like a plug and play and like, let's go. Sure, there's going to be a learning curve to things. And that's kind of what I did through December, was kind of the learning curve of it and all that. And then January saw a good little hike and I was like, oh, wait, okay, these systems are actually working. Now let me dig in a little bit further into it. And the more that I've dug into the systems or bought into the systems, you know what I mean? And really done the work that Liz and Dan and the team has kind of pushed me towards, like, hey, this is an idea for you. You need to take advantage of doing this and this and this to increase my leads or whatever. The more I've done that, the greater my numbers have gotten. So, it's been a steady climb and it's been quite insane. And also too, the socials have grown insanely. I think I've added I went up 4,000 followers in the past 3 weeks. So
yeah, because like
cool, great.
You don't have like a massive following. You're not like, you didn't come out here being an influencer that starts to monetize. You're like, I'm just a Joe out here, loves training people from small town Louisiana, don't really like social media, but I'm putting it all together, put myself out there, got a system in place and it's working for me. And praise God, let's continue.
Yeah, it's funny, man. My friends that know me very closely, they always joked that I am the anti-influencer, that just because like I just don't want to be an influencer. Like I don't, you get what I mean. Like
I do. It's funny enough is that you are an influencer. You just don't view it that way.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is they're like, hey, you're like 11,000 followers now. You're an influencer. I'm like, shut up.
You're a big deal.
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm still going to post the exact same stuff. So, but to the point too, though, that you guys helped me to really come to terms with, I was always, again, kind of going back to that sales experience I had in sales. I was always very against like anything that made me feel very salesy,
Sure.
As a person or as a coach. But you guys have helped me to kind of come to terms with that, not looking at it as sales and looking at it more so in terms of the amount of people that I can serve. And that really, really aligns deeply with me. Like my faith, who I am as a person is, I've always been tried to be a very servant type of person and try to serve others the best that I can. And that's why I struggled for years to increase my prices, because I just felt like, I'm taking advantage of somebody. It's like, I'm not. I'm giving them a phenomenal service, a phenomenal value, but I couldn't kind of turn that switch off in my head until I've had a few conversations, with Dan and Liz that have helped me kind of, and you as well with some of the coaching calls as well, kind of helped me shift my perspective on it as well. And I've seen how much that has actually led to even more service because of the more followers, because of the more business. And I can see the fruits of that in these awesome conversations that I'm having. I had a great conversation with a guy from London yesterday. I'm like, I'm from Abbeville. He's like, where are you from? I'm like, Abbeville, Louisiana. No, you never heard of it, dude. He's like, dude, I'm following you from London. I'm like, wow. Okay. Never thought I would be talking on the internet with a guy from London who's following me because he likes the way that I train and I coach and all this.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's been a really cool experience too, is seeing the growth, not just on the numbers side, but in some of the different relationships that I've been able to kind of cultivate and have now. And just be able to kind of reach and see and talk to so many more people and have a broader impact with that, And so that's where it's like, it's gone from sales, hey, I need money, sure. But I always hated that aspect. So now I just choose to focus more on the service. And this has allowed me to expand on that service so much more.
So what has been your biggest relief or breakthrough or kind of unexpected win since joining AR?
I'll say unexpected one. My wife and I were celebrating our anniversary in Broken Bow last month. And that is when I messaged you and the team. I think you guys were at the Arnold. And I had my biggest month of all time by a significant margin. It was probably, I think it was $5,000 over what my previous best month was all time in all 10 years of doing this. And that was just such a surreal moment for her and I, especially just we're out in Oklahoma away from life, vacationing, and it was just such a cool moment to be able to just sit and experience that together and like come to that realization that, man, our investment that we made has really changed so many things for us on that side of things, especially as a business. But how much more that's going to enable me to continue to do more for my family, for the people around me, for my community and things. And so having that moment with her, like just her and I, just like, because she's the only person I really talk to about any of the
Sure,
financial stuff or any of
finances.
the business stuff, she's my go-to. She's my rock. All of my wins, she knows all of my wins. She's probably the only person that knows most of them. You know, and so getting to share that with her, like my excitement and seeing her excitement as well. Whenever we saw that number, I was like, it was an incredible night. So that's probably been my number one moment so far. And then
That's one
the
of my
crazy part is
favorite.
so far this month we are already on track to beat that. So I'm like, okay,
Let's go.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just thankful. That's it. I'm thankful and blessed and thanking God every day for it. So
That's probably one of my favorite stories I've ever heard. When
thank you.
Liz told me, she sent me the message like, "Hey, just want to let you know Tyler sent this." I instantly messaged you.
Yeah.
It was like 8 p.m. It was something late. While we were at the Arnold's out to dinner, and I was like, I gotta send this guy a message. And it was very humbling, and I'm grateful because that means a lot to me, because I remember my first big wins and that moment that I felt, and the fact that we've been able to build something that can help somebody else feel that same moment that you can't replicate any other way, especially with the loved one. That means a lot. Like, I've helped a
Yep.
lot of people get to like 50, 100 grand, but it's just a number. But no one sits there when they get to 100 and they have that same feeling that when they get to that first milestone, that's
Yeah.
like, hey, this is now actually life changing, not just
Yeah.
another number.
Right. No,
So that was really cool
that
to
was
hear
the
that.
thing. It was such a big jump. That's what made it. It was like okay, wait, like I had to redo the math like 5 times. I was like, hold on, like I'm not great at math, so my wife also did it to double check for me. She's like, no, like
She's like,
that's
that
what we
can't be
made.
right. Let me check again.
Yeah, no, I told her twice, and she's like, let me do it, please do. I don't know, please do. But it was, and like I'm not a very emotional person in general, and my wife can tell you I was definitely emotional that night, in such a great way. Again, being able to see like
Totally.
a number like that is something that truly, even whenever talking with Dan, like on my onboarding and stuff, and telling him like the numbers I hope to hit, I'm like, cool, yeah, hey, this would be my goal number to hit in 3 to 5 years. And he's like, cool, I'm gonna see if we can do that in 90 days. I'm like, all right, sounds great. And then
Well,
we hit
sometimes
above that. And
we
I'm like,
put way too much emphasis on time.
yeah,
Way too much emphasis on time. Time is your friend, but it doesn't take a lot of time to find success. Sometimes it takes time to find your voice.
Mhm.
But once your voice is found, it can travel very fast.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing too, is going back to there's been 10 years of coaching to get to this point, right? It took me 10
Exactly.
years to acquire the knowledge and be a coach of better value and be able to, help all of these people and serve these people in this capacity that I'm able to now. And then now being able to get on with you guys has helped. Now the speed of that, expansion has just been incredible. So it's almost like two different journeys there of like it's the 10 years to build the knowledge, the experience, all
The
this. And
hockey
then,
stick, man.
yeah,
It's the hockey stick. It
yeah.
just
And then
takes off at
that's
one point.
that curve. Yep.
That's it.
And that's
Well,
been
dude,
so awesome, man.
if you had, how do I word this? Because I think a lot of people could probably relate to this. For somebody that's doing less than 10,000 like you were, what is your advice for them about if they're wondering, is AR going to be a good fit for them?
Number one thing I would say is do it. Just flat out do it. I sat for about a month looking into you guys before I signed up. Like I said, I saw my friend Lacey, working with you guys, and I was curious. So, went stalked the socials, tried to even got on Chat GPT. I'm like, hey, tell me more about this company. I can't find it. Tell me what's, went on the site, all that. And then finally, I made that, click the link to try to book a call and all that, and talked with my wife about it. And it was pretty cool too, because whenever I talked to my wife about it, she was like immediately like, if you believe in it, then yeah, let's do it. I was like, I was not expecting that answer that quickly, but okay, let's do it. And man, I really just am like kind of cool. I wish I had done this a few months earlier. That's pretty much it. It's been one of the best investments that I have made in the past 10 years in my coaching by far. It might be the best. If we're talking strictly coaching business wise and, business improvement wise, I would say it's the number one investment that I've made in the past 10 years.
That's awesome.
Like that's, sure, continued education as far as coaching people and nutrition and things like that.
Sure.
But as far as the amount of immediate impact as this was able to have for me as a coach and as a man, as a husband, as a dad, it's been the number one thing that I've done in the past 10 years by far. So I would suggest anybody, if you are looking into it, book the consult call. So it's absolutely well worth your time.
Tyler, dude, man, I thank you so much for coming on today, man.
For sure.
I appreciate the kind words. I'm excited for what the rest of the year looks like for you. We're just in Q2. And, man, I hope to get you out here to Dallas real soon.
Thank you, man. I would love to, man. I appreciate you guys having me, man. I appreciate all the things that you guys have done for me and my business because it has truly been – it's only been 4 months, and I can tell you it has been absolutely life-changing. Absolutely life-changing. So I really can't thank you guys enough.
Well, dude, I appreciate it again, man. And nice to finally meet you also in person as well, buddy.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Thanks, boss.
Thank you.